Hello, everyone. Today's article is titled Neighbors Fight Over Trees. It reports on a dispute in a suburb of Edinburgh, where a tall hedge planted for privacy became the center of a legal and emotional conflict. What appears to be a minor neighborhood issue ultimately raises larger questions about shared space, competing rights, and everyday quality of life. Let's pause for a moment before we move into the article. We'll watch a short clip related to today's topic. As you watch, think about what ideas or questions it brings to mind. Now that we've seen the clip, let's take a step back. Before we dig into the details, it helps to explore a broader idea behind the story. This will guide how we understand what follows. This article highlights a fundamental tension in shared living environments. People seek privacy, control, and comfort within their own property. At the same time, neighbors rely on access to light, openness, and a sense of space. When one person's solution to privacy alters the environment for others, private choices can quickly become public disputes. With that idea in mind, let's turn to a question. In conflicts like this, how should communities balance individual property rights with shared environmental impact? Property rights rarely exist in isolation. Even legal ownership operates within a network of shared consequences. In this case, the hedge provided privacy for one homeowner, while significantly reducing sunlight for others. The law stepped in not to punish preference, but to limit harm where personal comfort crossed into collective impact. The compromise, cutting one section while preserving another, reflects an attempt to recognize both needs without fully satisfying either. This outcome shows that in dense communities, fairness often depends less on absolute rights and more on negotiated limits. Now, to understand this article better, we need to familiarize ourselves with key vocabulary. We'll go over 3 important expressions. Learn their meanings and see them in action with example sentences. Let's start with hedge. It refers to a barrier made of closely planted trees or bushes. In the article, the hedge grew so tall that it blocked evening sunlight. Here is an example. A thick hedge separates the garden from the street. Next, we have oppressive. It describes something that causes a feeling of discomfort or confinement. In the article, neighbors said the hedge created an oppressive sense of enclosure. Here is an example. The low ceiling made the room feel oppressive. Finally, let's look at uphold. It means to officially support or confirm a decision. In the article, the government upheld the council's ruling on the hedge height. Here is an example. The court upheld the original verdict. Now that we've explored the main themes and vocabulary, let's reinforce our understanding with a summary dictation exercise. Listen carefully and fill in the blanks. A long-running dispute in a suburb of Edinburgh centers on a tall hedge that neighbors say blocks sunlight from their gardens. The hedge was planted to restore privacy, but grew so large that it affected nearby homes. Local authorities ruled that part of it must be trimmed while another section can remain. The case shows how small everyday issues like trees, light, and privacy can turn into serious conflicts when people live close together. Let's check the answers and review what each word means. The first answer is dispute. It refers to a serious disagreement or argument between people or groups. The second answer is suburb. It means a residential area located outside the center of a city. The third answer is restore. It means to bring something back to its original or intended condition. The fourth answer is trimmed. It refers to cutting something back slightly to reduce its size or shape it neatly. The fifth answer is conflicts. It refers to situations in which opposing interests or needs lead to tension or confrontation. Well done, everyone. Today we explored how small environmental choices can have wide social consequences. This story reminds us that living close together often requires limits as well as freedoms. So here's a question to reflect on. Should governments and city councils have the power to regulate things like hedge height, or does that go too far into private life? We'll continue this discussion in our review session.